In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Jackson Hewitt tax preparation services. So this will be an in-depth review. I want to look at the pros and cons, the functionalities, the pricing, everything that revolves around Jackson Hewitt. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. So when you think about Jackson Hewitt, I want you to think about a tax preparer that's very flexible in terms of operational flexibility. In other words, you're able to file your taxes over the phone. You can file your taxes online, or you can file your taxes manually by going to a Jackson Hewitt brick and mortar branch. So this is kind of cool. That's what we call operational efficiency. And in terms of pricing, Jackson Hewitt is kind of in the mid range. So you don't have a TurboTax sort of pricing, but you also don't have a Tax Act sort of pricing. So this is it's just right there in the middle. So that's what we love a lot. So Jackson Hewitt gives bargain tax shoppers a basic and low price online tax software option. So if you're confident about filing your income taxes and you do not require fancy features or expert assistance, Jackson Hewitt could be a great choice for you, especially if you have an income from multiple states. Okay. And what I want to say here is that we basically recommend Jackson Hewitt tax software and tax preparation services, for that matter, for those who are comfortable with their taxes. That's what I just said. And also, if you make a certain level of income, in other words, if you are below $55,000, $55,000 to $60,000, you would enjoy Jackson Hewitt tax software. This is really good. One thing I want to say also is that the only problem, and I mean, there are a lot of problems, but the only major problem that we have found while analyzing Jackson Hewitt is that they seem to actually upsell you a lot. So when you have the software you have, you can be bombarded by a lot of upgrade offers. You know, you have ads and overly complicated questions about you trying to really get to the next level of the software. So that's a little pushy in our view, a little salesy in our view. But overall, this is a great software tool that you can use to file your taxes, especially, as I said before, if you actually earn income from multiple states. And so you do not want to use Jackson Hewitt if you are not comfortable with like your own taxes, if you need advice, you know. And one thing I want to say also is that Jackson Hewitt overall is best for those who want a simple tax software for filing on their own, those seeking a variety of filing options, and filers who want the biggest guarantees. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Let's talk about the pros and cons when we talk about Jackson Hewitt tax preparation service. The pros first. You have low price. You have comprehensive coverage of tax topics. So this is really good. We love the granularity that Jackson Hewitt really adopts when it comes to tax topics. You have great error checking. So when as you file your taxes, Jackson Hewitt has a systems of controls, checks and balances that really helps you out to really know whether you are making errors or not. And you have effective mobile versions. So those are the pros. What about the cons here? Well, the thing with Jackson Hewitt is that you cannot import a prior year's return from a competitor. So as of now, let's say if you file your taxes last year with TurboTax or Tax Act or Tax Layer, you can't import it. And you decided to actually do your taxes this year with Jackson Hewitt, you can't import your prior year return from a competitor. And also another detriment that we have found is that you have context sensitive, searchable help that lacks in both amount and quantity. And they have to work on the user experience. So the user experience is not really on par with competitors. Like if you were to compare the UX that you have with Jackson Hewitt with the UX that you have with, let's say, Tax Layer or H&R Block or TurboTax, you have a big delta here. So they have to work on that. And some navigations quirks also exist as you go through your tax filing. So it's one of those things you have to really think about it. Now, maybe you can say, you know what, I don't care about those things. I'm okay. So if you are comfortable with walking through Jackson Hewitt, despite all the little detriments that I just mentioned to you, you will really enjoy the software. The software. So long story short, when you think about Jackson Hewitt, think about pricing. The pricing that's very good. You have good error checking. You have effective mobile versions. But just make sure that a little bit of UX will be a little detrimental as you try to really file your taxes. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Jackson Hewitt Tax Preparation Service. So this is a review of the service. I want to talk to you about the pricing here. And you can basically see on the screen here that Jackson Hewitt has a few guarantees. So like H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt actually offers tax preparation services both online and at real world offices, including about 3,000 kiosks in Walmart stores across the U.S. Okay, 3,500. And the cost of filing your taxes with Jackson Hewitt in person varies depending on the income type, filing status, and forms required. So last year, actually, Jackson Hewitt offered 2 online filing options. So you have the DIY, the do-it-yourself, and you also have the file with the Tax Pro. But this year, it really offers a self-service online filing option. I mean, they keep changing their services, but as of now, they're sticking to the DIY version only, okay? And so Jackson Hewitt's file by yourself option is notable for its flat fee. It's flat $25 fee, okay, which includes federal and unlimited state returns, $25. This is really, really cheap compared to the competitors, okay? And so most other services charge separately for your federal return and for each individual state return. So $25 for everything is really cool. Now, the major downside of this low-priced option is that you are working with less sophisticated software, which can feel clunky at times, and you will have to input your own data. So there is no option to upload any forms or other tax files for automated entry, okay? And all the IRS forms and schedules are included, but you have to make sure that you've completed each one required for your particular situation, and that the information is accurate. That's the thing. I mean, basically, you are filing taxes using software, but the software is not 100% software. And so there is no additional explanation along the way, as you would find if you were to use TaxSlayer or TaxAct or TurboTax or even H&R Block. So the whole thing is you need to figure out complicated forms on your own. That's what I said. You got to be a little comfortable by doing your own taxes. And I mean, really all the way, doing your taxes all the way, as opposed to relying on somebody else's expertise. Let me talk to you about the approach here. So how do you use Jackson Hewitt online tax preparation software, really? So Jackson Hewitt's online platform feels really simple. So the software uses a question and answer process to collect your personal information, wages and income, deductions and credits, then guides you into various IRS forms based on your answers. And so due to the small boxes on forms, the phrasing of the questions, and the lack of contextual help, in our view, the whole process might seem as though you're using a version of the software that the company's in-office tax preparers use. So Jackson Hewitt actually offers a guide me through all the selections button and lets you jump directly to entering data for specific sections. But the thing is that it doesn't provide any navigational outline to help you see where you are in the process. And you need to have that. If you file in taxes, you better have a clear idea where you are at in the process, okay? So even the navigational links to general federal sections like income, dependents, and deductions and credits disappear once you get into questions and forms. So bottom line here is what? The overall user experience of filing with Jackson Hewitt can be disorienting, and it's very easy to get lost. Also, filing in all the individual boxes and amounts manually can make the tax return preparation process tedious. So Jackson Hewitt works best when you have only a few tax forms to report, okay? So basically, one thing I also need to say here is that Jackson Hewitt doesn't have a dedicated mobile app for iPhone or Android, but the browser-based software is optimized for mobile devices and works fantastically, okay? So the spare aesthetics and simple navigation work well on small screens, and like its competitors, Jackson Hewitt displays your running estimated state and federal refunds or own taxes at the top of your screen as you progress. However, you won't find the help resources of competitive services like TurboTax or H&R Block. Okay, so if you don't have a lot of questions, this shouldn't be a problem. But if you run into any difficult issues, it could be a major headache. So that's why, I was just telling you earlier that you better have a mastery of taxes, of your own taxes, before you use Jackson Hewitt, because you are going to be a lot on your own. So if you don't want to have that, it's better to go to a competitor. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Jackson Hewitt tax preparation services. Let's talk about the value added here. So is Jackson Hewitt safe to use? Definitely yes. Definitely yes. They've been around for a while now. They've been around for years now. The company is safe to use. They employ a layered defense strategy as their competitors do. So you have MFA, so multi-factor authentication. So the MFA is actually supported through all kinds of layers. And one thing I want to do here is that all data you transmit from your computer or phone is encrypted. In addition, you are notified about any account activity like a password reset or e-file submission. Okay, so this is kind of cool. And so to get started with Jackson Hewitt, things are really, really simple. You first need to create an account. You enter a unique username and password, select and answer security questions, and optionally, you set up multi-factor authentication. The site then asks for your name and address, filing status, social security number, and so on. So if you filed with Jackson Hewitt Online last year, the site actually populates those fields automatically when you log in. And so this is kind of cool. The site also presents a list of forms you completed for the prior tax year and asks if you want them included. You must still review and edit all the information that auto-populates though. This is important. So the setup could be faster if the site asks more than one question per page, because as it currently stands, there's a lot of clicking, and that could be a little discouraging for some taxpayers, okay? So the same problem plagues some other sections of the Q&A process as well. So once you complete those introductory pages, the site asks you for your W-2s and other sources of income. It then goes on to cover dependents, deductions, and credits, healthcare, and other tax situations before transferring relevant data over to any state's returns. You must file and check in your returns your returns for errors. So it is really what it is. It's a little clunky, that's true, but if you are comfortable doing your own taxes, you should be good to go. And so you can get around Jackson Hewitt software pretty easily. You can either do things yourself online, or you can go to a branch. So you can basically go to a branch and speak to, they call it kiosk. Okay. So you talk to someone, an experienced tax preparer at their kiosk, and they will really handle things on your behalf. Let's talk about some other extras here. So when you think about Jackson Hewitt, what are the extras you need to really pay attention to? So you have other notable features of Jackson Hewitt. You have they have several guarantees. That's what we love a lot. So their tax preparation service offers several guarantees. So you have the 100% accuracy guarantee. So basically, Jackson Hewitt will pay IRS penalties and interest that result from software calculation errors. So you must notify Jackson Hewitt in writing within 10 days of your IRS notice, and the service will not file an amended return. So that's one. They also have another guarantee that's called the maximum refund guarantee. So you get your $25 back, the fee that you paid, if you find a larger refund with another service. So this may not be a great deal if you lose big money on your refund anyway, though, So the thing is that when you think about the extras that you really want to pay attention to, besides those two guarantees, you have other functionalities that we have found. For instance, a useful search function in the help section takes you directly to forms with a keyword or form number search. For instance, type in child care to go directly to IRS Form 2441 for child and dependent care expenses. Again, you will need to know your taxes well to take advantage of that feature. Okay. And so Jackson Hewitt's Security Center might be the software's most robust feature. And so this is really good. So available for a My Account link, this page lets you configure or change multi-factor authentication, shows current and historical session data, and lets you add or remove trusted devices. So it's one of those things where if you're filing taxes from multiple devices, or you're filing taxes from multiple devices, or for multiple people, then this section, the security section, will be really your partner here, because it will really help you centralize all of your data and make sure that it not only centralizes the data but also secures it. So this is really good. So overall, if we were to actually review and rank filing through Jackson Hewitt, I would say that it's definitely decent, but not the best, okay, in terms of user experience. All right, so what is our verdict here? So when we think about Jackson Hewitt tax preparation service, our verdict is, first of all, is it safe to use? Yes. Is it legit? Yes. Is it worth it? Well, our answer is a little more sort of guarded here. It's okay. So you want to go with Jackson Hewitt if you are comfortable filing your own taxes. If you've done it before, if you used them last year, you want to go with Jackson Hewitt. If this is your first time going with them, and this is your first of all, if this is your first time actually following with them, you can't, as I said at the beginning of this show, you can't actually import your prior year return. You have to actually enter things manually. You can't really import it from a competitor. The software right now doesn't have that capability. That's number one. Number two, if you were to do this, to enter manually, you still need to be comfortable doing your own taxes. And also the whole process, the UX is a little clunky, the user experience, that is. And so it's one of those things where you have to be really comfortable in terms of navigating your own taxes, finding information, knowing exactly where to find the information, what's the info in the first place, and how that info affects other parts of your tax returns. This is not something, it might sound a little easy the way I say it, but it can be really complicated. I mean, for instance, if you are navigating your Form 1040, you got to be really sure about how each Schedule A, for instance, or Schedule C, for instance, or Schedule D, for instance, how data on those schedules will affect ultimately your Form 1040. So this requires some kind of preparation, some kind of knowledge to really understand. So Jackson Hewitt's online tax preparation software has everything anyone needs to file their own taxes on the cheap. It works best for DIY types who don't mind data entry, are familiar with their tax situation, and know how to report their income, deductions, and credits. But those actually needing support and guidance may be left wanting more, okay? And because you'll be on your own, by the way. So when you actually go with Jackson Hewitt, you are getting document checklists. So before you start filing, you can use Jackson Hewitt's handy document checklist to see exactly which forms you will need to prepare your return. And you have a mobile app, so you can work on your taxes on the mobile or web versions, or switch back and forth. Now, the mobile app is not really solid. It's not even existent in some cases. You also have a tax return storage. So Jackson Hewitt will store your finished tax returns in your account for up to 3 years, about half as long as H&R Block, TurboTax, and a few others, but still a sufficient amount of time in our view. And so basically, this service is really reliable. Yes. It's really worth it. Yes. But again, you got to be the DIY type. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was talking to you about Jackson Hewitt Tax Preparation Service. I was doing a review. Let me do a quick recap here. So I gave you an overview of this software/preparation service. I gave you the pros and cons, the pricing, the approach, the value added, the extras, and the verdict. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.